and it's the tools and resources session, and three-quarters of the session were about collaborative sharing, so languages to sort of interoperate, integrate all these various good work that's being done in different corners of the world. Now, these sort of concept map, as we were asked to produce, is actually started with a particular set of concepts, and the beginning one was expertise needed to use tools, and how much are we actually serving that when we're thinking about designing tools and resources to support teachers. And that theme, perhaps it's the sort of the double sort of side of it. It's are we designing tools to support teachers, to support learners, or are we thinking about designing learning design as a technologically enabled learning, which is constantly being heard in this conversation. It is the sort of to what level can you assume expertise on behalf of the teachers, and do we need to push that as well? I mean, it's one thing to say where teachers are and we meet them there. Another thing is to say, okay, where we want to take them, treat them as learners, which is a part of that sort of expertise bound. Mike and others, please interrupt me if I'm saying something that good. Then we move to sort of other concepts, and that's the integration I mentioned before, which is sort of strongly in this session today. It's actually the strongest theme today. It's how we integrate these pieces of supporting infrastructure. Then synchronization, once you bring it all together on the screen, how much of the elaborate intricate detail of each tool can you actually make other to understand and benefit? The importance of context, once you design something, how much of, you can take it to another context and still have it work. Focusing on how to bring creativity about is sort of another area where we need to share and integrate things together so that we can learn from each other and collaborate. So we arrived at about 3 questions when we have this mysterious it, because that it is it's the thing that we are trying to support with, or it's the thing we try to support them to achieve it. And it's the sort of, it's them being the teachers, I apologize for using that it. So how to achieve synchronization, creativity, contextualization, sort of thinking, integration overall. How to know if we are successful, and one of the things being motion was the only thing you can know is if you're meeting a learning outcome or not. That's the only measure of success. I think that Richard Noss being saying that how medicine is much more precise. You can know, there are a few critical things that you can measure in medicine to know if you are, the therapy is good. Whereas with teaching, it's much harder to find that space. But then again, if you start from learning outcome, I think it's a good place to start. Finally, to enable rich dialogue, that's the sort of part of creativity. So that's the sort of part of solution, is how we achieve this creativity, for instance, and is by enabling the rich dialogue, which means, again, integrating and crossing these boundaries between different practice, cultures and practice. There was also one question about cultural differences between various teaching practice groups. And to this particular question I have a personal sort of dislike, because no other practice is from architecture to programming is actually sensitive to cultural differences as much as we try to build a teaching practice to be sensitive to these things. So certain things can actually, I believe strongly, make their way from one corner of the world to another in terms of teaching practice, recommendation, support. I think I've covered everything in sort of, I think I have another 6 minutes or so left, or more.
No, we need to recover all the time we can.
If anybody from our group wants to say something I missed, and I'm sure I missed something important.
Great. I'll be trying to summarise and very muddled and forward. There's, I think down on that right-hand side, there's one central issue which relates back to what Gronja was saying, which is that you have abstracted learning theories. So whether it's Vygotsky's MDT or have the situated contextual teaching practices, and the difficulty is how you make the mapping between the two of them. In two ways. One is how you then translate theory into appropriate practice, but also how you enable practitioners to understand the theory that's underlying. What we've tended to do is to think about what those middle layers are, whether they are ASLD or whether they're design patterns. We still haven't got it right in terms of providing that intermediate representation that captures the richness of practice while still being informed by an abstracted theory. And I think that's really where we've got to put our effort into that middle layer.
Okay, thank you. So I think we can already see links between two, and it's interesting that, it's seemingly coming from different perspectives, different themes, different set of papers, but there are some kind of emerging key threads. And shall we, are there any questions before we move on to the last group?